Hello booktube, it's Leah Cooper here, and today I'm bringing you a book haul, which I don't do very often. So this book haul is a collection of basically everything I got for my birthday and Christmas, which is not a ton, but it's a lot for me. Let's just put it that way. I live in a very small space. I have no room for anything, and most of my possessions are in storage. So book buying is not a good idea. So I don't do it very often, and these are probably the only books that I acquire till my next birthday. So first up, for my birthday, my sister got me a subscription box for the month of September that was called Bibliophilic Excursions, and basically it's a book box with that's themed by country. So each month they do a different country. They tell you a ton of stuff from that country, as well as books about and from that country. So for September, the country was Japan, and I will leave a link to their website, Twitter down below, because I thought the box was really good. I got stuff like a Zen sand garden, which, trust me, if I could put it on my desk, if I had space on my desk, I'd probably have it there so I could play with it. I also got like a sushi rolling kit. I got like socks. I got candies from Japan and books. So let's talk about the books real quick. First off, I got a Japanese themed puzzle book, which I don't know if I will do, because these sorts of things usually stress me out. Not gonna lie, I'm probably gonna see if my boyfriend is interested in this, because he is really into puzzles, and I think he might like this. The next book in the box was nonfiction, I think. Yes, I'm like almost positive this is a work of nonfiction, and it's Confessions of a Yakuza by Junichi Saga. The true and fascinating story of one of the last traditional gang bosses in Japan. So I think this is like, it's nonfiction slash biography, presumably, about the guy on the cover. Then the next thing I got, and I'm definitely gonna butcher this lady's name, is The Samurai's Garden by Gail Tsukiyama. I'm just gonna like read you a quick glimpse of the back. On the eve of the Second World War, Stephen, a young Chinese man, is sent to his family's summer house in Japan to recover from tuberculosis. Under the care of the housekeeper and master gardener, Matsu, he will rest, swim in the sea, and paint in the brilliant shoreside light. It will be quiet and solitary. As he begins to recover, young Stephen has his own adventure, but it is the unfolding story of Matsu, Sachi, and Kenzo that will seize your imagination and stay with you longer after you have finished this beautifully crafted and moving masterpiece. So this looks like a short piece of literary fiction set eve of World War II in Japan about Japanese and Chinese characters. So definitely outside of like what I usually read. And then my sister also ordered the special add-on to the package, which was to get a book from a previous month's book box. And so the one they sent me is The Death of Mrs. Westaway by Ruth Ware. And this is, I think, this might not be Ruth Ware's newest novel now, but last year was her new novel. And she's the same author who wrote The Woman in Cabin 10. I've heard quite a few people really enjoying specifically The Death of Mrs. Westaway. And so I've never read Ruth Ware, but I do love a good thriller when I'm in the mood for it. So super excited to read this. And then for Christmas, again, my sister, because she knows how much I love books, got me a gift card for our local indie bookseller, which on the rare occasion I buy books new, I usually try to buy through them just to support local business. So the three things I bought with that gift card, slash my own money, when I was ordering with that gift card. First one is Spinning Silver by Naomi Novik. Obviously Naomi Novik wrote Uprooted, which was my favorite book of 2017, or one of my favorite books of 2017. Freaking love that book. This is not set in the same universe or even a direct sequel, but it is kind of the same type of story, I think, you know, like fantasy novel inspired by different fairy tale elements. This one specifically inspired by like Rumpelstiltskin stories. So yeah, I'm really excited to read this. And since I had a gift card, I could splurge on hardcover, even though I'm not like a huge hardcover fan, but they didn't have paperbacks yet in the US. Then the other two things I got were both nonfiction odd books. We'll call them coffee table books. One of them was a recipe book I've had on my TBR for a really long time. It's Milk by Christina Tosi. She's the head baker manager of Momofuku Milk Bar in New York. And this was her first, I think this was her first cookbook. She just makes real fascinating, interesting desserts. This cookbook was different than I expected. There's a lot of ruminating on component parts, using those different component parts to make combining them in different ways. But, you know, she very famously has, oh, is there not a picture? No, there's no picture of one of her famous cookies. Here we go. This is the apple pie layer cake. I don't usually make apple cakes, but that sounds real good. She's got sections on cakes. She's got sections on nuts. She's got recipes for cookies. She's got a surprising number of recipes for ice creams and sorbets in here, which I think was really interesting. I wouldn't make this for myself, but maybe my boyfriend. PB&J panna cotta. It's very interesting. There's no picture for this one, but lemon meringue pistachio pie. Oh, sounds so good. Anyways, it's just a dessert cookbook. It's a beautiful little coffee table book. I wanted it for a really long time, and yeah, I'm excited to bake some stuff out here. And then the last thing I purchased was another book that's been on my TBR for literally years, and that is A Beautiful Marsupial Afternoon by C.A. Conrad. This is a combination poetry and workshop book by C.A. Conrad, who is a poet. It's published by Wave Books, which is a Seattle publisher of exclusively poetry. And all of their books have these soft cream covers, usually with textural artistic elements instead of like traditional covers. That's just their style. They're all kind of like this big workbooky size. So specifically in this book, and one of the reasons I wanted this one in specific is Conrad actually came and talked to one of the creative writing classes I was taking when I was at Evergreen. And this book has black and white pages. And the black pages are somatic exercises. And those are for mind-body awareness meditative exercises. And what you're supposed to do is work through the exercise and then use that as inspiration for your writing that day or that week. On the white pages are the work he created while performing these somatic exercises, if that makes sense. So you get writing prompts, meditative prompts, and then you also get poetry. And he has a very modern, often stark and in your face, crude style. So for the first somatic exercise, it is anoint thyself, and it is to visit the home of a deceased poet you admire. Bring some natural thing back with you. I went to Emily Dickinson's house the day after a reading event with my friend Susie Timmons. I scraped the dirt from the foot of the huge trees in the backyard into a little pot. We then drove into the woods where we found miniature pears, apples, and cherries to eat. I meditated in the arms of an oak tree with the pot of Emily's dirt, waking to the flutter of a red cardinal on a branch a foot or so from my face, staring, showing me his little tongue. When I returned to Philadelphia, I didn't shower for 3 days, then rubbed Emily's dirt all over my body, kneaded her rich Massachusetts soil deeply into my flesh, then put on my clothes and went out into the world. Every once in a while, I stuck my nose inside the neck of my shirt to inhale her delicious, sweet earth covering me. I felt re-virginized through the ceremony of my senses. I could feel her power tell me these are the ways to walk and speak and shift each glance into total concentration for maximum usage of our little allotment of time on a planet. Lose and waste no more time, poet. Lose and waste no more time, she said to me as I took note after note on the world around me for the poem. And then the next page is Emily Dickinson came to Earth and then she left. I've wanted this for a really long time. I'm super excited to have it. New somatics. Not so new anymore, but timeless. So I can't wait to work through these probably this summer when the weather's a little bit nicer. And then the last couple of things I picked up, one of them was at the same bookstore when I went in to pick up my books. They happened to have this on the shelf, and that is a copy of Radiance by Catherine M. Valente. I love Radiance. Again, one of my like top 5 books of 2017. Freaking loved it. Really, really, really deeply want to reread it, and wanted a copy that I could annotate myself. So picked it up when I saw it. And then I also went to the Half Price Books outlet in my town just to glance through if they had anything, since I hadn't been there in like a year, because I try to only go like once a year. They had one thing that was After Atlas by Emma Newman. This is technically the second book in the Planetfall series, but they are companion novels, not direct sequels. And of this series, this is the one that I was most interested in. It takes place on Earth, and it is about a GovCorp detective named Carlos Marino, who is the son of one of the characters from the first book. And he gets embroiled in an investigation, and the religious cult leader who I think led the team off Earth in Planetfall, and they've since disappeared, something like that. So this is the one I was most interested in because it sounded a little bit Blade Runner to me, which is a style I really love, and I love detective stories. And there aren't enough science fiction detective stories in my opinion. So this was $3. I went ahead and picked it up. And then the last thing I got recently was an ebook, and that is Eye of Truth by Lindsay Buroker. This is the first book, and I think a new romance fantasy series from her. Let me double check. Yes. So it's about some dude in a fantasy kingdom. Sounds like kind of a night guy, and he's set to go home and retire in peace. And when he gets there, there is an inquisitor waiting to arrest him. I've read Balance on the Blade's Edge by Lindsay Buroker, which was a like solid 3.5-star fantasy book. I haven't read the rest of that series. I kind of do want to, but I just haven't. You know, it's like, oh, I have to start another series. But since this one was free, I grabbed it. I snapped it up. I figured it'd be some fun reading when I just want to read something on my Kindle that's like light and fantasy adventure. You gotta keep a nice collection of those. So anyways, that's everything. I don't want to pick up the pile of books again. That's everything I've recently acquired in the last 6 months. To me, that's a heck of a lot of books. I know to a lot of people that's like half of what they usually buy in a single month, but for me, that was a lot. I hope you've enjoyed this. I hope you've enjoyed seeing all the books I've gotten. They're kind of a little eclectic. They're really eclectic, actually, but I'm really excited for them. Let me know down in the comments if you've read any of these or you find any of them really interesting. I'm kind of curious if anyone would be interested in maybe doing like some sort of read along with C.A. Conrad, and doing like if you're an author or if you're a writer, you want to get into writing or whatever, maybe doing a read along, write along kind of dealio. I don't know if that interests anyone. Tell me down below, and maybe I could see about organizing something later in the year. I don't know. That would be fun. C.A. Conrad's really cool, you guys. So anyways, thanks for watching. If you enjoy any of this content, be sure and hit that subscribe button, and I'll see you guys in my next video. Bye.